Hello guys, this is Mephisto and today we are discussing the NBA 2K17 Prelude or the NBA 2K17 demo. And overall I have to say I'm actually very satisfied with it. It was a lot of fun to play the demo, to play the Prelude. It's a very exciting method to present us a game. Especially because it's not just a very restricted version of the game, but it's actually part of the story, and that's what made me really excited about NBA 2K17. Actually, I'm not somebody who regularly has to buy NBA 2K because I'm a soccer fan, I'm a soccer player, soccer coach even. So it's not a must-have for me to have a basketball game. I have NBA 2K15 on my Xbox. I skipped NBA 2K16, so I'm always considering whether to buy NBA 2K or not. And this time I might get NBA 2K17. I think chances are pretty high because of the demo, right? They presented very little of screenshots, very little of information, but especially the way they presented the demo made me very intrigued about NBA 2K17. I like the story mode of it. That was so far unique for sports games. FIFA is having something similar as well this year for the first time, but NBA 2K, they have a lot of experience already in it from previous games. It looks actually really intriguing. What I'm missing though in the story mode, and part of why I like the story mode, is I also love this RPG type of games and telltale games. So when you're just having an interesting story, I love games with a great story, and having that in a sports game is fantastic. But I also love the freedom of choice in these kind of games, whether it's RPGs or whether it's telltale games, that they have an influence. And in this case, the cutscenes were basically just like a movie. I didn't have the feeling that my game influenced them very much. My game influenced what the press, what the media was telling about me, what was his name, Jason Richmond guy told. I think my game had an influence on that, but it didn't have an influence on the cutscenes, and I didn't have any choice on the cutscenes. At least I didn't get the feeling of it, and that I was missing. So what I heard and what I saw about NBA 2K16, it was also similar like this with the Spike Lee story. Though there was missing the choice in the cutscenes. Now I hope in the full game we will have choices to make, career choices to make, that influence our relationship to the people surrounding us, and the relationship with the people surrounding us influences us on the court. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see in a sports game, is how the game off the court influences the game on the court, and vice versa. So I hope NBA 2K17 brings that to the table. I actually think it will be this way, but the demo didn't give me any glimpse in that way. Now, when it comes to the creation process of my player, I was actually quite disappointed about the types you can choose. So you can pick yourself a type as a point guard, whether you're a playmaker or a shot maker, whether you can be a sharpshooter, and so on and so forth. I don't like the solution they have here. I understand that people were cheesing, especially online, in my park, and that it was too easy to create basically Superman on the court. But I think it destroys part of the single player experience. It destroys part of my career experience, and here is why. So think of a player like Dirk Nowitzki. I actually like him a lot, and he's a great player. And for a power forward, he's a great shooter and also a good 3-point shooter. He's not so much about alley-oops and dunking. He's not super athletic, but he has this great fadeaway shot, and he has a great three-point shoot. He's not so strong on defense. And before him, there was no such player like him in the NBA. There was no type like him. You can argue whether he's one of the best players of the NBA history, but you can tell for sure that he was first of his kind on that position. Now, what I want in my career is a personalized experience and a personalized development. And I want to bring my style to the NBA. I don't want to be just a copy of another player, because that's not how you get success in any type of sports or in life, just by being a cheap copy of somebody else. You want to create something on your own, and this is completely missing. And that doesn't have anything to do with a simulation, with realism. Because great players have always their own style. You can argue whether you have to be Superman or not, whether you have to be as good as LeBron James, or whether you have to be the next whether you need to have Michael Jordan stats on the center position being 7 foot high. But you're missing out that individual character you could have in your player development that exists in real life, actually. And when you think about why not having a point guard that is very athletic, that is able to jump very high, that is very fast, but is also a world-class three-point shooter. That doesn't exclude each other. I mean, think of the training process. Think of the exercising process. You can actually train that in one day. First, you can go to your shootout. You can shoot threes. You can splash them all the time. You can train that. And then you're hitting the gym, training your legs and your lower back to jump very high and increase your vertical. You can train that on the same day. But here I can only choose playmaker. I would get that 94, 95 speed or whatever, especially when I'm very slow. But I can't max out my three-point shooting. Why not? I could train that literally on the same day. So I'm really, really missing the simulation part in this particular area. Now, the rest of the gameplay, I'm not too much of an expert in basketball. As I said, I'm a soccer guy. From the gameplay perspective, I think NBA 2K is the best sports simulation, at least team sports simulation there is on the market right now. The game feels very fluent. It's a lot of fun to play. There is always some action going on. I feel the improvement to the past NBA 2Ks, especially when you compare it to NBA 2K15, like I'm basically doing, because I didn't play NBA 2K16. You actually see quite some major improvements. Especially when it comes to balance. I thought in NBA 2K15 it was incredibly hard to steal the ball and to intercept it, and in 14 it was way too easy. You can get triple doubles with stealing. Now I feel this is balanced. Everything is very balanced. There is not, or at least I didn't see one way to cheese. The zigzagging is still effective. You can use it in a very effective way, but you're not cheesing with it, and this is what I like. So it does feel like a realistic sports simulation, although, and that is the restriction of what I'm just saying, that the game that we're just playing college here. So we didn't play the NBA pros. There was the last game at the Olympics, but also Australia is much weaker than Team US, and actually a lot weaker. But yeah, we were just playing college, so everybody is basically on the same level, and it's not really the NBA. It's not comparable to the NBA, so we have to basically see how that cheating factor is developing in the main game, especially then online on My Park or on online games. But what I saw looked actually very, very promising. Now, last but not least, I'm making a video also on this. Is the Facescan technique, and that was a very frustrating part for me, actually, because it just didn't work so fluently. Maybe I just don't get it, but I really don't think that the instructions are clear in this one. I mean, I saw some tips, some hints on the 2K support homepage. Why not putting the hints in the app that you can see it right away? Why not giving tips for lighting, for everything else? I mean, there are so many YouTubers giving you tips, but still it's so random, and you really need a lot of luck to do that. And I don't know how many attempts I had. Most of the time it told me there was an issue with my scan. I didn't know why. I used actually natural light. There was the sun directly pointing at me. So I really don't know what. So that was actually a frustrating part, because you need like 3 hours to do that. What I'm missing here in the Facescan feature is the option to just point what your eyes are, where your lips are, to pick your nose and so on. I think FIFA EA Sports did a great job with that in the past. They also have that game face feature where you can just pick your nose, your attributes in your face, pick where your eyes are. That's where the Facescan technique really struggles, right? Because sometimes you see your eye on your skin, the picture of your eye on your skin, and the game doesn't realize where your eyes are, where your lips are, where your nose is. Why can't we just assign it? I mean, I wouldn't mind to assign my eyes and to assign my lips or 13 or 14 pictures. I wouldn't mind that. It would have cost me much less time than the way the Facescan technique works right now. You could just point where your eye is, and then the game sees where your eye is. Where would be the problem in that? EA is doing that, and I had so much less frustration with the EA face scanning technique that just requires 2 pictures. You're assigning all of your face parts to it, and then you have a nice face in your game, and you're seeing yourself right away. They could do that similarly, especially since you're not using the Kinect or the PlayStation. I have the feeling that the technique they're using is the same as in NBA 2K15, but you could use your iPhone or your iPad in a much better way that you can use your PS4 camera or your Kinect. But overall, the pictures I got weren't such big abominations as in NBA 2K15, but they told me more often that there was an issue with my scan, so I think they figured out that an abomination is about to happen. And at least these abominations are sort of entertaining. When you have the text telling you there was an issue with your scan, it's not even entertaining. Okay, so but overall it made me intrigued for NBA 2K17. It's not a must game for me. As I told, I'm a soccer guy. I love to play soccer games. I'm definitely going to buy FIFA. So however they screw it up, I'm going to buy that one or Pro Evolution Soccer. But I don't have to buy NBA 2K17. I think I'm going to buy it. I think I'm going to get it because the way the demo was presented made me really intrigued for the story. It's not a must-have game for me. I have a video with my face scans, with the face scans I got, especially with the fails. I wasn't satisfied with my with the one I picked at the end of the day. It still has some flaws, but it's just fine for that moment. I just wanted to play that game and not waiting all the time till I get a completely flawless face scan. I would very appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button to follow my career. I'm a soccer guy, so I'm struggling with the basketball game a little bit, but I'm thinking I'm improving throughout the games. I'm not that too much of an experienced 2K player, so if you want to see a guy improving constantly, putting work in, not being the best, not winning all the time, then you should hit the subscribe button. I would very much appreciate it if you would follow my career in this game, and if you would check out my other videos. and hit the like button to support this video. And tell me in the comments, what was your impression of NBA 2K17, the Prelude? I would be very much interested in what your experience was, and if you agree with my points on the gameplay and on the face scanning technique, on the story, and especially on the choice of my player creation. So see you next time. Bye.